I'm Rick Richey.
And I'm Drogoszewski.
This is the Daily Move Challenge. Uh-oh, you getting ready?
Betcha.
All right, we need you to get ready. Grab a towel. Coming up, we got some baseball swinging to do. So we got Aaron using the towel as a baseball bat. If you notice some really interesting things about how our system works is that a lot of the exercises that we've done in the past look very similar to this. Similar, they're not the same, but you think about like throwing a punch when we were doing our 1-1-2 punch counts. And as we threw the cross, you get a nice pivot and a rotation. We do our chopping patterns, looks very similar to this. All the rationale is still there. Now, towel goes down, you're gonna do something called wake up. So you're gonna lie flat down and stand up, flip it over, and then you're gonna lie flat down, face up, flat down, face down, back and forth. You've got these for 60 seconds, not just 30 seconds. You got a full minute of these going on right now. So I like this because you think about getting up, first of all, just standing up from a completely supine or prone position. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna take work on your part. It's either a push up to get up, and we got 25 seconds left, same thing, we're still going, or you've got to do a sit up to get up. But then you have to decelerate everything too. So you get the eccentric or the lowering phase or the negative of all of these exercises. They're just done at different times, at different speeds than if we just did them by themselves. It is all of the exercises drawn into one with a cardio component. Fantastic. So we've got a 3-step dot drill that's going on here, and go. It's 1, 2, 3 to a balance, and go. Good. Look at his arms move with his legs. Go. Good. He's got 1, 2, 3. Go. Arms and legs are moving together. He's breathing and he's balancing. Go. Good. Hold that balance. And go. Go. Nice. Good. Baseball swing. So you're taking that baseball bat, swinging on the left side. This is gonna feel awkward to anybody that's right-handed, right? So if you're right-handed, you're swinging on the left side, oftentimes these movements feel very weird, but we want to get your neuromuscular system adapted to doing things from the right hand to the left hand, or vice versa. So if you're left-handed, you've probably already had to experience right-hand life, so you're probably pretty somewhat ambidextrous anyway. Good, now this is a squat stutter step, or buzz your feet, or the old ants in the pants drill, right? But all we're doing here is just moving those feet as fast as we can. Now, what oftentimes happens, people do this and they keep their hands here and they move their legs, but they don't move their arms with it. We want arm movement to go along with it. And it's not just elbow flexion and extension, but it's coming from the shoulder too. So you get both elbow and shoulder movements in here. All right, guys, we're back to the wake-ups. 60 more seconds. You got 1 more minute of these bad boys because we like them so much, or we at least find them very effective so much, that we're gonna take you through it again. So you got a full minute here. We banged out 20 seconds already of this round. Keep going, lower yourself down, decelerate, take those arms back down to your side, bring them up, boom, back and forth, up and down. Guys, keep working. That's your halfway point on your wake-ups. Push yourself on these, don't hurt yourself. Always stay in control of your movement. No uncontrolled movements are ever accepted in what we're doing. We cannot monitor it, so we're gonna have to keep cueing it. Stay focused, stay controlled with all of your movements, but push yourself. Do what you can, not what you can't. And we think that you can really get a lot out of these exercises, but pace yourself and always be in control. Next one, we're going into a bunt. So your right side, and then you just step out into your bunt position. So a bunt in baseball is not a swing. It's just making contact where you just try to track the ball with your bat and touch the ball. So we're going into this bunt position, and we were surprised when we came up with this exercise. We were like, let's try a bunt. And when we went through a few of them, we were like, oh my gosh, that is way more difficult than we expected it to be. So we thought, let's just keep doing it. So we're gonna throw the bunt in towards the other side, getting that motor system to start working in a position that it's not used to working in, at least for 90% of the people out there who aren't used to doing things with their left hand very often. We're going to challenge you. Challenge yourself physically when it does to work on your left side mechanics. Challenge yourself motor recruitment-wise on a lot of these things so you can always get better. Nice.
We're going into strength endurance, which means we're going to be supersetting. So we're going to start out with a push-up. This time we're going into 2-0-2. Since we're doing 2 movements for the same similar muscle groups, we're not going to use the 4-2-1. So it's going to be a 2-second count down, 2-second count up. Nothing changes as far as the form. The only thing that's changing here is we're going a little bit faster because we're going to add on a second exercise that's going to incorporate the shoulder stabilizers, the spinal and trunk stabilizers. Going a little bit faster. We're still listening to form. Belly button pulled in, glutes fired. When he gets to 10, I'm going to start the 30-second timer. And what Rick's going to do is he's going to reach across and touch the opposite hand, making sure that he does not compromise the form whilst doing so. We got 2 more, and then we're going to go into our DAVIES taps. It's a test that we use for some of our athletes to test shoulder stability, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So Rick's moving side to side. He's touching the opposite hand. Just like everything we do, modify your pace so that we can arrive at a quality outcome. Meaning as he reaches, his arms aren't migrating further and further up towards his face. He's keeping them underneath his chest and his shoulders. As he moves, he's bringing the weight of his body all the way across so the planted arm has to support it, but he's keeping his trunk stable. There's no movement through the spine or trunk. And break. Good. Go ahead and stand up and grab your towel. So now, not only are you going to grab the towel, you're going to try to tear that thing apart. Give me some tension on there. So we're going to actually stand up straight for this one. Go ahead and stand up, yeah. Take a load off. Just kidding. Tear that thing apart. So the row is going to be identical to what we did with the combo number 2. He rows back, or horizontal abduction. Going to squeeze his shoulder blades together. But as he's doing that, that tension that he's creating on the towel rather, that also is horizontal abduction. So the muscles back here, your posterior deltoids, they get turned on like that, and then you bring them into the mix with the rest of the muscles back here, your scapular retractors. Pinch those shoulder blades together, pull them down, stabilize your trunk. There shouldn't be any movement through your spine. So as you row, the trunk stays stable, no arching of the back. 1 more, and then we're going to superset it. So now what we're going to do, go ahead and get into that bent over position. Now we're going to superset it with our bent over combo. So familiar from last week, it's the same thing. But now what we did is we turned a lot of those scapular retractors and depressors on. We got them firing, and now we're going to try to complement them with a little bit more endurance. So unlike the standing row, now we need to work a little bit more as you go into the press to fight that scapular elevation. So we talked about it last week. If you need to press out a little bit lower towards the ground, if you lack the ability to keep the scapula where it belongs. So like we discussed before, if you're shrugging your shoulders, it's time to regress. The base doesn't change. Take a look at Rick's feet. Hip width apart, insides of the feet parallel, knees directly over the center of his foot. Stick your hip out, get those glutes fired up too, and let's not forget about the spine. Even though there's no movement through the spine, you're still recruiting all the muscles to stabilize the spine. That word sounds familiar, meaning no excessive arching through the back. We also don't want you going into spinal flexion. I think you have 1 more. And then we're gonna go and pick on those legs some more. Good, then I'll take that from you. So, superset for the legs. We're gonna start out with a nice stable squat. 2 seconds down, 2 seconds up. So Rick's doing what's called a prisoner squat. I love it. So right now, your shoulders are gonna be working even more because you need to keep them in that upright position. Now you notice as Rick drops down, knees don't buckle, feet don't turn out. Now what I would like for you at home to think about, and you also, squeeze those glutes the whole time. Don't depend on the movement to activate the muscle groups we're looking to activate. Do it on your own. Make the movement be a complement to the recruitment pattern. Squeeze the glutes first, and then instead of just standing up through the knees, push the hips forward. Drive the heels through the ground. Navel drawn in, heels through the floor. crown of the head through the ceiling, squeezing the glutes the whole time. Good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to complement that. Our superset is going to be a reverse lunge to balance. So we warmed because they were warm already. We prepared the body with that big stable movement. Now we're making it an unstable movement. So with both feet on the ground, Rick was able to really focus on keeping the glutes fired, squeezing, getting all those big global muscles firing. But now since he has one foot off the ground, we need to bring those stabilizers back into play. So as he comes up, all the muscles in his feet, his ankles, his knees, they need to really communicate to figure out how to keep the joints where they belong. That's what we're looking to do. So as he drops down, he's keeping his heel connected to the floor, forward angle. As you get tired, you're gonna be tempted to bring your spine back over the moving leg. Try your hardest not to do that. We don't wanna distribute weight through both legs. Only the right leg's working. And now we go back to those squats. We're gonna do 10 squats and then we're gonna do 10 more lunges on the other side. If you need to, if you're having any type of pain in your shoulders, hopefully you're not, feel free to drop your hands down, but by keeping the arms in this position, if we can recruit a few more muscles, why wouldn't we? Nothing changes with the lower body. We're really focusing on keeping the knees flared out over the middle of the foot. As you get tired, a lot of the naughty muscles are gonna start to kick in, the muscles that pull you into bad posture, faulty positioning. So be aware of that. They may not have collapsed in the beginning, but as you fatigue, the brain may not be able to recruit the proper muscles. One more, focusing on your form above all else. And now we pick on the opposite leg. So reverse lunge to balance, nice slow count down. As you come up, lock it into place. We want a nice long body. Straight leg, heel through the floor, crown of the head through the ceiling, navel drawn in. If you need to move a little bit slower because you don't have this balance yet, don't let us get in the way. Go slower. Let those muscles catch up. Let them acclimate to what it is we're trying to do. So let's start from the ground up, talk about what that is. Steps back, heel stays connected, knee over the center of the foot. As he steps back, his left hip is traveling slightly behind the heel. Belly button pulled in at the top, and nice shoulders drawn back. You need to hold it for a little bit longer, tap your toe, feel free to do so. And just like the squat, it certainly wouldn't hurt to squeeze that glute at the bottom, push your hip forward, stand up tall, and you've got one more, my friend. All the way up, and that's it.
Number one, let's get started with some baseball. Good, so we're swinging that baseball bat, chopping across the body. Some things to focus on when you're doing these exercises. First of all, don't get crazy. So it's not like the Sidewinder, so we're not just sweeping back and forth like this. It's an actual swing, so really focus primarily on the forward swing, not the back swing. Also focus on the pivot on the back leg. Getting that pivot in is gonna be where really all of the power comes from anyway. So you're taking this baseball swing, turning it right into a chopping pattern, but it's the same direction and you've got the same mechanics really going on in the lower body that you had going on in the baseball swing. So it's all the same. Like so many of the movements that we do and we recreate from one exercise to the other have so many similar mechanics, and there are only so many major joints in the body that you're gonna move from anyway. So now we're taking it all the way around in circles over the top of the head. We call this a Bulgarian swing, and it really comes from Bulgarian bags, where they take these bags and they swing them around their heads, and you're gonna use this just with the towel. But look, because we're swinging back and forth from side to side, we've got pivoting going on side to side on each one. And again, the hips are moving, the arms are going up overhead, and you are non-stop moving in these rotational patterns. Now, you're gonna take that Bulgarian swing and you're gonna turn it into a chop with a lunge added to it. So now we've got a mashup. We've got a combination of that Bulgarian swing, that chop, and on into a lunge, coming back up and center. Now, this is a big rotational pattern, and a lot of times if your balance is a little off, rotational movements, like through this transverse plane, become very difficult. So if it doesn't work for you, then don't do it. So now we're gonna go into something we call SCAP jacks. And the reason they're called SCAP jacks is, you see how he's got the towel out there. So one of the exercises that we do for your scapular movers, so those are the scapular or the shoulder blades, is something called scaption. It's when the arms go up overhead like this. So SCAP jacks are just jumping jacks with a scaption taking place, taking the towel in your hands, pulling wide, and arms go up overhead. Cool. Now we're going into the baseball swing, left side. Everything just gets turned around. We're working on some overall body ability to go from one side to the other, and focusing on your rotational pattern. Another thing that happens here too, and in your non-dominant side primarily, we tend to see that people will round forward a little bit more than they normally would on their dominant side. So be very careful that you're not finding different cheating patterns with the flexion of your spine. Good, so now let's go into your chopping pattern. Arms go up overhead and then chopping it down and back up. This is a cardio exercise, so we are gonna go back and forth a little bit faster than we would normally go if we were just doing a chop, right? A chop. When we get into our power stuff, we'll go into chop type exercises, but we'll be throwing things, so, or even miming throwing things, and it's all about the explosiveness. This one's about chopping down and way to come back. Now, Bulgarian twist or Bulgarian swings with the towel going over the head. Nice position with the body, good positions going on with the foot and ankle, getting the heart rate up a little bit. Shoulder blades are moving with those SCAP jacks helping you to warm up before you transition over to the other side. And then all the other rotational patterns we had going into place now feeding into this. And then in a moment, he's gonna turn this into Bulgarian swing and then chopping it down into that lunge pattern. Right here, so he chops down into the lunge, he's got to now come up and back to the center. That's where it's difficult for a lot of folks. Don't worry if that's difficult for you. Take this at your own pace. Time it so that you are not throwing yourself out of balance and you're always in control. But if you can push yourself on this, make it happen. Get your heart rate up and really focus on your ability to twist, chop, and come back up to the top. Back to the SCAP jacks. This will be our last thing, last 30 seconds, and then we're gonna call this round done, but we focus on your scaptions. As you come up, shoulder blades actually, if you can even look at mine, they go into this position and you get a squeeze in between your shoulder blades. It's hard to do that with cardio because you go into and out of it so quickly, but I want you to think about it and try to make that happen as you do these SCAP jacks. And you guys are DUN, done.
Is there a prize at the bottom of the box of these scaption jacks?
We're going with what we call linear fast feet. So you know these feet are moving fast when we call it fast feet. Let's get it going. Come on, side to side. Arms are pumping back and forth. They gotta be in line and in movement and in sync and in coordination with your leg patterning. So sometimes people go through these exercises and their arms do one thing and their legs do another, or they do it, sometimes I can't do it right, but they do both arm and leg up at the same time. So it's always opposite arm and leg. So now he's going fast feet forward and backwards instead of side to side. So it's the same thing, we're just changing the plane of motion at which he's moving. So he's forward and backward, back and forth, up and down. One of the reasons that we do this and we like it is sometimes with our clients and our athletes, we'll take out a speed ladder or an agility ladder and we'll step into the rungs and back down. So forward, forward, back down. And so you've got this pattern where you're going with opposite arm and legs moving into the rings. All right, so here is when I'm going to say go. And you're gonna drop down into the lunge, you're gonna come back up to a balance, and while you're balancing, you're just doing your single leg running with your arms. Lunge, and then coming up right, maintain that balance, good core stability, good hip and ankle stability, lunge down, come right back up again, and let's pump out those arm runners and lunge one more time. And let's switch legs. So nice transition from Aaron. So he just shifted over to his other legs, but kept those arms running. Let's lunge it down again. So lunging it down, coming up, hold that balance. Stabilize, control your body. Lunge down. Good. Come back up, hold it. Good, arms are still pumping, but you're stabilizing your body. Lunge. Up, and another. Lunge it down, and pump those arms out. Nice, good. So these are pop fly catches. So you're doing your squat jumps and reaching up side to side, switching your arms up. I know you only got a glove on one hand, I get it. But you're back and forth, side to side, jumping up, grabbing the ball out of the air, and bringing it back down. Now, control your landing. One of the concerns that we see a lot is that when people do their jumps and they land hard, and we do not like when people land hard on these. All right, very cool. Let's get you into the next one, which is the lunge to Frankenstein. So we went a little over on the pop fly catches just because we think it's awesome. So lunge to Frankenstein, bringing the leg up and kicking it across. So arms are...
we needed the out.
Yes, and we needed the out. So sometimes the game runs a little long, you don't get the out. Reverse lunge coming up and get your kick in. Very good. So let's go into same thing, other side. Reverse lunge coming up into the... I gotta be honest with you. I know that this is not an easy exercise. We thought, oh, it looks cool. It's a good combination between a couple things. And then I made Aaron do them. And Aaron was like, this is difficult. And I said, awesome, let's make those guys do them too after pop fly catches that went long. So let's move it right in now to fast feet. So get those feet moving side to side, arm action going on. Again, think about if you've ever seen the athletes that are using the speed ladders or we used to use tires and stuff like that, where you've got to step into each rung or each tire, get those legs moving up and down, but your arms always have to move with them. Arm action, leg action, working concurrently as you're going side to side, and then we're gonna switch it over. So you're now moving front to back. So you got the same thing going on, tat, 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 this pop, 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 as your feet are moving forward and your arms are moving with your body. Your heart rate is up from all those pop fly catches and all the Frankenstein lunges, and now we're asking for your feet to move fast. Stay strong with this, guys. Keep pushing this out. You got 10 more seconds, and if you can, and I think you can, then you push yourself faster. Go a little bit faster. Pick up your speed, push yourself, do what you can, not what you can't, but push yourself harder. Now we're gonna go inside pitch, and you gotta duck underneath the ball. So just think of it like the pitcher has thrown the ball and you're getting underneath it. Some people will call this a modified burpee. Now, modified in two senses. We're not adding a push-up and we're not adding a jump. We're just doing a thrust back and right back up into your squat position. So the baseball pitcher is throwing an inside pitch and you're getting down out of the way. There you go. One more inside pitch. You can get one more in, and nice.
What are the chances I can get that 7th inning stretch right now?
Yeah, no kidding. Guys, you are awesome. So proud of you. Do a little bit of movement every day because
A little bit of something
is better than a whole lot of nothing. I'd charge the mound if I were you.
Maybe next time.
I'm Rick Richey.
And I'm Aaron Drogoszewski.
This is the Daily Move Challenge. Here we go, y'all. It is week 3, cardio extra 3. You've come really far. You stuck with us this far. Let's go right into it. We've got a baseball bat towel here, and we're going into our bunt position. So the bunt is a dropping down into a squat position with the arm in front of you. It's a transitional movement from a side position into a front position. So you're rotating, trying to make this happen. Now again, rotational movements have to be careful. So what we're doing is he's pivoting his foot that stays over on that side. He's not just twisting and coming back and keeping that planted. Good. Go. 1, 2, 3. Real quick, get into your balance. Go. Hold that position, stay balanced. Go. Nice, hold it. Stay there, stay there. Go. Pop, pop, pop. Go. I noticed that your feet moved way faster than me saying pop, pop, pop. Go. There you go. If you're moving slower than this, go. It is fine. It's unnecessary to go fast with go if you can't do it with control. There we go. Let's go with the left side bunting. So dropping down and creating that bunt baseball bat with your towel. dropping into your position, coming back up, rotating, body's moving. Guys, this is all about creating the vision in your head and playing, right? So let's play with what's going on. Let's get our heart rate up. Let's be active. Let's do a little bit of movement every single day, but then let's create a game around it to keep us involved. Run in place. Good, so taking that bat, fold it up in your hand and run in place. Arms are pumping, legs are pumping. Here's something to continually note. Anytime you've got impacts right here on the ground, you need to minimize the intensity of your impact so you're absorbing the shock. If you don't do it with your muscles, then that means that you're doing it with something else. And what's not muscles? Those are your joints, those are your bones, those are things that that aren't designed to actually take up that type of pressure. I mean, they can, but the muscles do it better by absorbing it. Good, these are your SCAP jacks. So again, the scaption looks like this. This is an exercise we use in resistance training quite a bit. It is an exercise that we use for corrective patterning for upper extremity dysfunction. Now we're adding it into a cardio where we're doing a scaption while doing the jumping jacks. Arms are going up into a scapular plane as the legs go out side to side. Now we've got our fast feet, side to side, this lateral movement back and forth. And we like to think about this as being something like doing a speed ladder or agility ladder, where your feet are moving, but that ladder is only about 2 or 3 rungs long, right? So it's not a 15-foot ladder or a 30-foot ladder, and you're just going tap, 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 in and out, going side to side. Get a few more seconds doing these lateral fast feet before we start to play ball again. Here we go, baseball swings, get into it. All right, here we go. With the baseball bat swings, rotational patterning, and visualization. Now, this is about having fun, it's about being involved in it, and creating a scene around your exercise. I know that sometimes it's hard for people to do exercise for a prolonged period of time, or for some people, any time whatsoever. So if we can create some type of visualization and engagement, that should help. All right, let's switch it over. We got the inside pitch, so you're dropping down into the modified burpee position, so that thrust back, and then right back up. He drops down. Awesome, he's coming right back up. Now this does a couple things. Obviously, the changing in levels is gonna spike your heart rate. When your arms go down, you've gotta use your scapular muscles to stabilize, which we've worked in the scaption and movement. Now they've got to stabilize as you do this. And then the thrust backs and back up are leg exercises. Cool, let's go baseball swing. Other side, shaking a tail feather. Let's get the baseball swings in with your rotation. Look. Back and forth is important, rotation is important, control is really the thing that we're gonna start from. If this is not your dominant side, it's fine, but focus on your control. Stop focusing on your heart rate right now, focus on how well you do the exercise, and then we can add speed into it. Good, inside pitch, and dropping back. Good, inside pitch, drop back. Cool, now notice that every time his feet go back forward, it's a squat, so he's standing up. Every time he lowers down and he gets down into that squat position for his thrust back, he's decelerating the squat. Look, we've got movement going on here. These are explosive things with the legs coming back and forth. Unlike a burpee, we've removed the push-up, we've also removed the jump out of it, so we're just doing the thrust backs on this one. There you go, guys.
I've had enough of this picture. Ah!
Amazing.
Rushing the mount.
Guys, remember to move a little bit every day, as aggressive as it may be, because
a little bit of something
is better than a whole lot of nothing.